My day as a woman in the Victorian era begins at the break of dawn, when I am awoken by a servant. I arise from my bed promptly, for laziness is a most grievous character fault. I dress for the morning in my wrapper, as I am expecting no callers today, nor will I be going out yet. Then I begin the day's labors with diligence and good cheer. My first task as the woman of the house is to make breakfast for the entire household. It takes a great deal of work to feed a household, drawing water from the pump and boiling it, grinding the coffee, and cooking a nutritious meal that will set us up well for a day of hard work. After quite some time, the table is set for breakfast, and we may eat. Good table manners are, of course, essential. As I eat, a servant brings me the newspapers so that I may keep up with important goings-on across the world.
Hey Google, play the news.
Pulled it off, and I'm sure Jared Isaacman will be very pleased with its success.
News from abroad may be slow to travel, but I think it is in my best interest to remain informed of great events outside my own small region.
Now, we know well the difficulties of meeting one's nutritional needs with Victorian-era dietary and medical knowledge. Even with all the improvements made from previous centuries, we have ice boxes now. But I digress. Any way to spare the effort and complication of being well-nourished is very welcome. Hence, I would like to thank Groons, the sponsor of this video. Groons are a convenient, comprehensive formula packed into 8 gummies a day. This is not simply a multivitamin, greens gummy, or probiotic. It's all of those things and then some at a fraction of the price, and a great deal better tasting. 8 gummies are included within each daily snack pack because you can't fit this amount of nutrients into just one gummy. Generic multivitamins only contain around 7 to 9 vitamins. Groons have 20 plus vitamins and minerals and 60 plus whole food ingredients. Foods in gelatin are considered very fashionable to us Victorians, although Groons uses pectin for the gummy texture and contains no actual gelatin or animal products. How advanced! In addition, Groons is suitable for those who avoid nuts, gluten, dairy, and comes in both low sugar and sugar-free options. Medicine and nutrition in the Victorian era is unregulated and rife with dangerous products, but Groons is more comprehensive and accurately dosed. If one reads the nutrition label, something not required in Victorian times, one can see that Groons contains 100% of your daily needs for safe vitamins and 25% of your daily needs for certain minerals that are known to be potentially toxic at excessive levels over an extended period of exposure. Not every supplement, vitamin, or greens powder puts in the care to dose ingredients effectively. Only think of all the dangerous pain medicines available in Victorian times. However, I can be confident in safely serving Groons to my entire household to supplement our diet no matter the season or availability of good food. And it is a great boon to me as the woman of the household. Get up to 45% off. Just click the link in my description.
Following breakfast, it's time for me to keep up with my correspondence. First, I must check the post. While it is delightfully convenient to send letters for a few pennies, an abominable number of advertising circulars now clutter my mailbox. Oh well, one does need something to light the stove with, and cheap paper burns very easily. I am fortunate enough to exchange letters with a great many people, from nearby friends and acquaintances to distant and knowledgeable experts in numerous subjects. It takes a great deal of time to respond to all of these letters, but the labor is very much worth my effort. If you are able, I advise keeping up a regular correspondence with as many of your associates as you may, for it is a great improvement of the mind. Additionally, it is important to attend promptly to any social obligations. I must send a note to a friend who has asked for the recipe to a dish I served at dinner 2 weeks prior. It will be a day at least before it is received, but that's no excuse to be anything other than prompt in my reply. This task will take up most of my morning, but when my correspondence is all answered, it's time to complete my toilette. Not that kind of toilette! I must dress and prepare myself for the day ahead. It is most important that I clean my teeth. Toothbrushes are fortunately easy to come by these days, though I still make my own tooth powder. The weather being fine, I shall wear a light and simple dress, although first I must don layers of torturous and painful undergarments. You know what? I'll wear something more comfortable. As I have no social obligations today, I need not wear anything fancy or complicated. I do not, however, wish to appear slovenly, so I shall endeavor to style my hair neatly and with care. I shall wash my face, of course, as cleanliness is a virtue. But only an actress or a woman of ill repute would go so far as to paint her face, and certainly not for a day without social engagements. Cleanliness is a virtue in the home as well as in one's person, and it is among my tasks to keep my house as clean as may be. It's hard, demanding work, hauling water to scour all the dishes by hand, cleaning the hearth, beating out the carpets. Laundry is an especially arduous task, taking many days to complete, and by the time it is done, the cycle simply begins all over. I am fortunate enough to have room for a small kitchen garden, which I care for diligently. I must once again laboriously pump water to do this, and check each and every plant for pests. Today is market day, when I will go into town to purchase the groceries necessary to keep my household as well fed as I may on our budget. I'll have to visit numerous different shops: the greengrocer, the bakery, the fishmongers, and the butcher. A whole roast chicken is a luxury and costs a great deal, plus the labor of preparing it. But if I am clever, I can get several meals out of it, so it is well worth the expense. Unfortunately, we are at the mercy of the seasons for what produce is available. You simply cannot get anything out of season, or if you can, it is at the most exorbitant prices. My goodness, how scarce butter has become these days. Carrying all my purchases home will be difficult, but being a woman in this age requires strength of body as well as strength of character. Upon returning home, I must store the groceries carefully to ensure they do not spoil. Food preservation technology has advanced significantly, but it is still quite difficult to keep things good, and it would be most irresponsible of me to risk illness in my household. I am fortunate to have been taught well in this by my forebears. At midday, I will take a brief break for luncheon. In order to avoid taking too much time from all the work I must do, it is but a simple cold meal of bread and cheese, and a cup of tea to fortify myself. There's no time for rest or leisure. A woman's work is simply endless. My household chores done for the moment, I can set to my paid occupation. Writing to earn an income is not an illustrious career, but I must get money to keep myself somehow. Of course, this is nothing to what a husband might earn, but as I am a poor spinster, I do what I must. Ink stains on my fingers are a constant companion, but as I will never have the soft hands of a fine lady, I do not let this trouble me. The afternoon passes quickly, and I do not let a minute of it go to waste. Very soon, it is time for me to get up and prepare supper. Given the seasonality of produce and the difficulties of preserving food, I will have planned the menu a considerable time in advance. I will have to build the fire and the stove back up. Of course, smoke from the coal will be an issue, but there's nothing to do but live with it. Cooking is always a laborious process, but it would reflect most terribly on me to let my household go without a hot meal at the end of the day. Dinner is a most important time for a household to come together and give their full attention to each other. Good manners are, again, simply a requirement. Once the meal concludes, I set to the work of scrubbing each and every dish. It would be thoughtless to add to tomorrow's burdens by not doing them now. At the end of the day, I have an hour or two of leisure before it is time to retire. As I settle in for another lonely evening of solitude, I lament for a moment about being a spinster. Nay, a thornback! A redundant woman with no husband or children to give me purpose! How little fulfillment I have in this life. But I must do my best to bear it, as we all have our trials. It is true that the life of a Victorian woman has many great challenges, but how much better this world is than that of my forebears. I simply cannot imagine wishing to live in any other era.
Psst! Thank you, Groons, for sponsoring. Get up to 45% off using the link in the description.
What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be in this video!
I wanted the fruit snacks, and you're in my spot.